My name is Glen Blake. I'm an assistant public defender at the Tulsa County Public Defender's Office. I'm lead attorney on Project Commutation and will be teaching the Public Defender Clinic at the University of Tulsa College of Law this fall. Project Commutation started in the spring of 2018. Oklahomans for Criminal Justice Reform is a statewide group that reached out to several different organizations throughout the state. They reached out to all the law schools across the state, Tulsa County Public Defender's Office, the Oklahoma County Public Defender's Office, the ACLU, and in addition to several different treatment providers and organizations throughout the state. And they had this idea of looking at commutations. Everybody knew that Governor Fallin was going to be leaving office at the end of the year, and the thought was, 780 was great, huge impact on the state. The voters of our state said that they felt that drug addiction and drug possession was more of a health issue than a criminal concern, and so the passage of State Question 780 was obviously huge. The problem is it didn't do anything to help the people who were already in prison serving sentences that had now been reclassified as misdemeanors. So the initial goal of Project Commutation was to identify some of those people. The idea was to go out, find these people, tell their stories, and explain their situation, in the hopes that everybody would start to realize that the fact that 780 wasn't retroactive was a problem. Once we got our initial group of law students from TU that worked that first summer on Project Commutation, I was kind of the supervisor. My role with them was to just start from square one. I mean, it was everything from explaining what a commutation is, to talking about their current sentence, to talking about what that sentence would be today under current law. So there's a lot of learning for the students to do. I mean, sentencing in Oklahoma is very complex. We've got, our laws are not very cut and dry. Everything's got a base range of punishment, but obviously Oklahoma is big on enhancements. So anytime a person has prior felony convictions, they can be used to increase the range of punishment. So sentencing is a very complex issue. It's a hard thing to learn. So that's one of the main things that we work with on the students is sentencing, just the whole idea of commutation, but really even just down to the basic nuts and bolts of interviewing clients. It's everything from managing expectations to understanding where that person's coming from, and to also being very prepared so that when they have those questions, you're able to answer them, and you can tell them what the process looks like and how you're able to help them through the whole process.
My name is Luke Kittinger. I'm a second-year law student at the University of Tulsa. And I am spending most of my time as a student right now as an extern over at the Tulsa Public Defender's Office working on Project Commutation, and also at the Tulsa Bochet Legal Clinic working on the Immigrant Rights Project. By working on Project Commutation, I've developed a couple of really invaluable skills for my legal education and legal practice in the future. I definitely have been very impacted by my work personally. Emotionally, it can be, not every job has that sort of emotional component to it where your heartstrings are tugged on a little bit, but a lot of times in this job, specifically in Project Commutation, there's a lot of room to kind of empathize with your client and to have this sort of emotional connection. As someone interested in the law and as a law student, especially in the state of Oklahoma, you hear a lot about our super high incarceration rates, and a lot of times you hear stats and numbers, but there's not really a face to those. It's just kind of statistics, cold statistics. This really puts a face to those people that represent such a high incarceration rate in our state.
The opportunity to work with TU is amazing. I'm a graduate of both undergrad and law school at TU. I've worked in this position for a while. We've always worked with TU students, and it's just an incredible opportunity to be able to have, some of the, in my opinion, the best and brightest students in the state come and work for us. For me selfishly, it's a great opportunity for me to help find our future public defenders, and I think that it's just an incredible opportunity to be able to show students something that you don't always see. As public defenders, it can be a pretty frustrating job. The victories are few and far between, but I think what the students are able to see is real tangible results. I think it's just a remarkable opportunity, not only for us, but for the students, and we're just so excited.